Hi everyone, Assistant Professor Tanya Hertz here, and I wanted to talk to you tonight about how to actually use the Google Forms to create problem surveys. And most of you have all, if not all of you, have created your problem interviews for the face-to-face interviews, and you were now working on creating your problem surveys that you can send to other potential early adopters to find out if they agree with what you found. And really at this point, you may not be even gathering any new data. All it does to, to get these extra responses is it essentially supports what you've already said, right? It's a way for us to say, yeah, we were right. We knew that this was true. This problem is a significant problem, and here's the data to back it up. And this really helps when you are presenting your findings in a pitch deck at the end of the semester or whenever you're presenting. So let's talk a little bit about how to use the Google Forms to do that. I gave you all access to a template for a problem survey. If you don't understand how to use these Google, I said docs, but I meant forms, Google Forms, understand that this is a shared document. I'm not sending something to you that you can then just start working on. If you do that, everyone's document will change. So you don't want to just get in here and start changing things. What you want to do is you want to make your own copy so that you can do that. So you'll go ahead and make a copy and save it, something that makes sense to you. Copy of template of problem survey might not be right. Maybe your problem survey was something like whatever you were selling. If you were selling soybean shoes, right? That might be your problem survey, right? And then you'll go ahead and you'll save it in your own drive. Now, once you've done that, you can close the old problem template. And now this is the new soybean shoes problem survey. You can do whatever you want to this. You can see there's no longer any responses in there. This is yours, right? So then that's our soybean shoe. So it's no longer hand sanitizer. We're going to make this now about soybean shoes, and we'll go ahead and turn this into our problem survey. Now, if you've used Google Forms before, you know that without any add-ons, it's a little difficult. You have to do a lot of typing in each thing individually, and it can be just such a pain. And so I really highly recommend that you get the add-on called Form Builder. Now, if you don't already have this add-on, the way that you get the add-on is you actually go to your the add-ons here and add it that way. So you'll go to add-ons, you'll search Form Builder here, and it looks just right here. Yeah, there it is, Form Builder, and go ahead and install that. It's a very useful, it's one of the first ones because it's one of the most useful. So I highly recommend adding that. Once you have that, you can then, and this is where you'll access it. You can access it by going here to Form Builder, clicking on that. Oops, it's not coming up here. I might have to go back out and come back in. You know, what I'll do is I'll go back out and come back in, and we should be able to get it that way. Sometimes when we just create these, it makes it, it takes a little while for everything to be working again. Soybean shoes, come on and work. And there's the add-ons, Form Builder. There it is. Go ahead and click Start. And you'll see the Form Builder is now over on the side. And this is how you can take what you've already created in your Google Docs and bring it over into your Google Form, and then you won't have to reinvent the wheel, start from scratch. So then you'll go over here to import it from the Google Docs, and I already had a template myself from the problem, there it is, from the problem interview, and you probably do too from your face-to-face interviews that you've been doing. Perfect. So there it is. And now if you look, what I've done here is I have, oh, it didn't work. Sorry about that. So we'll do that one more time. We'll find those problem interviews. And okay, there they are. Okay, so there are the questions all from my problem interviews. So you can see when it comes over from the problem interviews, it shows the questions all individually. And the way that it brings over the questions is it brings over the questions just each as if, without any of the pictures, and as if each of the lines of text is a question. So, you know, an even easier way to do this might be to get rid of all of the extra text in here first, and then just get to where you're at the actual survey, the actual interview that you were doing. And then you can start pulling it over. But I didn't do that. I brought it over all rough, and that's okay. They're still going to be there. It's just going to take me a little bit longer to kind of go through them. You'll want to unclick all of them because you don't want to just bring everything over. And you'll want to start, maybe I'll start here at the survey, right? So at the survey. So you want to begin with geographics and demographics, right? And relative, only include relevant variables. So the first one that I had was name. So there's an easy one, right? We definitely want to have that on here if it wasn't already in there. And you can then go like, click on this, the little settings wheel, and there, question is name. It automatically assumes that this question is going to be a short answer question, but let's say you wanted it to be a multiple choice, or you wanted it to be a drop down. You can choose any of those there, right? And then, well, let's say age, right? So age here. Right now, I had the question age when I was doing the interviews where I just had it as a short answer. But perhaps in my survey, I want to give them, you know, a choice so they'll be able to do this faster. I don't want them typing so many things in. So I'm going to change it from a short answer to multiple choice. And then I'll go ahead and put the values in. So maybe I can do something like under 18, right? And then I'll do another value that would be something like 19 to 25. And another value that would be something like 26 to 30. Now, do you notice how I'm not overlapping? One of the things that will drive any survey taker mad is when you have overlapping values and they're not sure if they should pick. You know, if I would have done something here like 19 to 25 and then 25 to 30, well, which do I pick? Is it 25 or 19 to 25 or 25 to 30 if I'm 25? So make sure that you don't have overlapping, and then right, over 30. Right? Okay. So you can choose all of the questions that you want. You can clean them up later. We'll pick a few. We're going to pick name. We're going to pick age. We'll pick gender. We'll pick some of the longer questions. What's this one? Would you use a topical hand sanitizer as an alternative? Yeah, I think I would. Right? So, I should have saved that other one. But so each of those that we're picking, we're going to then at the bottom here decide, and see there are a lot in mine, which ones we want to import. So we can import the selected. Make sure, again, to choose just the ones that you need so you don't have a big mess over here. And then you'll want to decide where you'll actually be putting that in the form. Before, top, bottom, wherever it is. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen, and then I would import the selected. Actually, though, I don't want to. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and import them. Yep, import the selected. So there we go. I've imported them. They're now at the bottom of my survey. And great. So I have all of these in here. Oops, I didn't save the age, so it's not right. But you can see most of these are now short answer. Let's go ahead and, since I didn't save them, we're going to change them to multiple choice. And this one makes sense from multiple choice to be, oh, I don't know, yes, no, and add all. Yeah. Oh, see right there, the suggestions came up. Add all, yes, no, and maybe. It's always nice to add the other option. Whenever you add the other option, it gives the respondents a chance for an open-ended survey. Don't make your questions required. You might have a couple of questions in there that are required, but not too many. If you have too many required questions, the respondents will not complete this survey if they don't know an answer. They get stuck and then they don't move on. If it lets them move on without completing all of them, that's much better, right? Much better. Okay, so let's go here. It saves it automatically. And I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this. Or actually, I'll close out the form builder. And I just wanted to show you in the template that I made for you, you can just go through and change the questions that I put in there for you in my template. And you can see that these are pretty, it's pretty straightforward. They're just taken from the interview template, brought over to the form, and then I've put them in different sections so that when somebody is taking the survey, they're not doing it all at once. It's in smaller, more manageable sections. And I put some skip logic in there. And the skip logic is a great way for you to validate the respondents and to see if they actually fit your criteria. And if they don't, then you don't capture the rest of their information, and they don't waste their time doing a survey that you're not going to use, right? Because if you remember when we were doing the problem interviews, we talked about it only using information that is relevant, only using information from your early adopters or people that could potentially be your early adopters. So if they don't fit the criteria, you don't want them to be interviewed. So remember when we were creating the problem interview template here, we talked about the potential users that we were going to include, and they were people who were concerned about germs, right? Concerned about germs. And then beyond that, I also asked them, so if they weren't concerned about germs, they're not in our market segment. And we also asked them if they would even consider using hand sanitizer. If they are the kind of people who don't believe in hand sanitizer, they're not concerned about germs, this isn't their, this has nothing to do with them, we don't want their survey responses. So the skip logic will help us to get rid of those people that don't fit into our target market. And you can see how I did this here. If you click on the actual questions, excuse me, at the end of this section, this is where the skip logic is. So are you at all concerned about germs? If they answer yes, well, then they can go on to the next section. If they answer no, we just submit the form and it thanks them for their time, and that's, that's that. Or maybe, again, they can go on to the next section because then we'll find out what's going on there. I did another skip logic here, right? Same thing, yes, no, and maybe. And then here you could always put skip logic in at the demographics section, just if it's really relevant to you to have just people within that demographic. For me, we still could gather their information and it still made sense to get it, even if they were not a particular age or anything like this. And then it went on to the problem questions. And again, you really want to make sure that you are not giving them too much all at once, that you make it extremely straightforward as much as possible. Try to use language that is at the no more than 8th grade reading comprehension. It's not that people aren't smart, it's just that they're not too, they don't care too much about your survey. And if it's too complicated and it's taking them too much time, chances are they're just not going to do it. So you can do all sorts of different types of questions in here. And I tried to give you examples of different types in the template so that you could build them out. I love to use these multiple grid choice questions for ranking problems. You see, it looks like this when you're building it, but then when it's an actual question, that's what it looks like here. It asks them to rank it. So difficulty finding, and this is easier one to see when you actually send it. But some of the, I do ask them, I do get into some deeper questions where we ask them to actually share stories of problems that you know, that they personally experience, and you may not get responses for all of these. That's okay, as long as they're part of your, they fit within the criteria of your target market, that those responses will still be extremely valuable. So get as many as you can and go ahead and put them in there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really important about sending out these surveys that you need to know. Yeah, if you're wondering again what to write in the questions for the interview or for the survey, go back, you know, go all the way back to the videos on market segmentation. Watch that again. Look at the material that we have on the PowerPoints. Look at the template of the problem interview template. Talk to me. We can do this in our meetings. And remember, all the videos are here in our Slack channel. And so you can go to the Slack channel here, right? And the videos that have the information on, well, it's much lower down, much more recent. It would be the videos right here on market segmentation. That's really helpful for figuring out who to talk to and doing your maps and things like this. And then actually any of the videos on the lean methodology, all the videos can help you. And I think those are up higher up in here. So, all right, good luck to all of you. Yep, here's the lean methodology. It talks about how to do this. I hope that you have excellent results. The minimum number of interviews that you want to have for your surveys are going to be a minimum of, I'd say, 25, and that's at the very low end. I'd like to have more than that. On the face-to-face interviews, we can have a lot less. I would be fine if you had 5, 10 really solid, excellent interviews that you were getting the same sort of results and you're not learning anything more after, then you can stop, right? I mean, if you're still learning more each time you do an interview and a lot more, you probably don't want to stop at 10 and keep going to 20 or even 30. Now, if you're doing more than 20, 25, chances are that you probably didn't do a very good job of estimating or assessing what the problem was, and so you have to go back to the drawing board anyways. But I hope I didn't confuse anyone more than I helped. If you have questions, just let me know, and I can't wait to see what kind of results you get on these. These are going to help you to show that you were right and that you do have a problem worth solving. So, all right, all the best to all of you. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.